Hey folks, this is Mary. Welcome back to my channel. This is day 11 of 30 Blue Ink's 30 days. And the lessons on making videos just keep coming. I filmed the whole video and I got a weird message when I stopped recording, but I plugged my phone into my computer to download the video and it wasn't there. So apparently my phone had run out of space, and even though it was recording the video, it didn't get stored when I stopped recording. So here we are again, making another video. It's so nice to see you again. Today's ink is Robert Oster Evening Sapphire. And of course I swabbed this in the video that didn't get saved, so you don't get to watch me swab it, but you can see it now that it's completely dry. And this has been a very interesting ink to work through. It's kind of a blue-black, but it has a lot of purple in it. There's some purple shading here, and this big dark area is looking very purple. And unfortunately my light is fading, but I don't know if you can see that very well, but this is a very interesting ink. Now, I have had some other problems. This whole video just seems to be fraught with problems, but I had originally put the ink in this pen that I used the other day. I used this one on June 1st with the Pure Pen Saltire, and this is the Jinhao X750 in Blue Swirl, and it wrote very well with Saltire, but when I put the Evening Sapphire in it, it just did not want to write. And I was thinking something was wrong with the pen, but then I remembered, no, I used the Saltire the other day and it wrote beautifully. So I thought it must be the ink. The ink is definitely behaving strangely. So then I got out this Jinhao 992, which I have also used this month, and I filled it up, and it was writing better in the 992. It still feels kind of dry. And I have this CVS Caliber notebook. I learned about this paper from Chris Signs. I just love her channel. She always has such good information. This is the brand at CVS Pharmacy. The Caliber paper is really good, fountain pen friendly paper, and it's very affordable. So I inked up the pen, and I was scribbling with it, trying to get it to write, and it just didn't feel right, you know? But once I got it in the 992, it was a little bit better. So I figured I would keep going with it. And also, when I wrote it in my journal today, I was writing with the X750, and the numbers, I mean, the letters just look really skinny. It was like the pen was struggling to write. It was so strange. So I kept kind of scribbling with it, trying to get it to go, and it just didn't want to go. And so that was the CVS Caliber paper and the Exceed notebook, which I use for my journal. And this is the Clairefontaine paper that I've been doing my writing samples in for us. And again, you can see that the ink looks really light. It does have some nice shading to it, but the letters just seem really thin, like the pen is just struggling to write. So it kind of reminded me of some of those multi-shading inks that we were talking about the other day, the Sailor Manio inks and the Troublemaker inks. They come out really pale and really kind of thin. And this was behaving sort of like that. And I did my little smear with it. It's just a very interesting ink. So, let's see. Let's talk about some of our swatch cards here. So I felt like this was going to be kind of a blue-black, so I pulled out my blue-black cards, and we'll see how those look. This is Nemesine Pleiades Blue-Black, and this ink is very interesting to me because on the website Mountain of Ink, which I just love, a woman who does the ink reviews, she listed this ink as one of the best shading inks. I think she said it shades in 5 different nib sizes, something like that. But I bought this from Birmingham Pens. I don't think it's available anymore, but I was very happy that I had it after I saw it on her website, that it was a big shader. I haven't used it that much, so I definitely need to get it out and try it, and I might ink this up one day this month. We'll see. All right, next we have Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukiyo. It's a beautiful color, definitely much bluer than Evening Sapphire. And it does have some nice red sheen to it. All right, next we have Diamine Blue Black. Now, this one I think is looking much more like Tsukiyo. They're both definitely bluer, and they both have that red sheen. The Nemesine ink and the Robert Oster ink are darker, and they don't seem to have any red sheen. Let's see. Next we have Pilot Iroshizuku Shinkai. And this is much closer, I think, to the Pleiades Blue Black. It doesn't have that purple tone that Evening Sapphire does. It does have a little bit of red sheen to it. I don't know if you can see that. And of course this watercolor paper doesn't show sheen all that well. Heavy sheening inks do sheen, of course, but if the sheen is a bit more subtle, it doesn't show up as well. All right, here is Noodler's 54th Massachusetts. I really love the color of this ink, but the ink just does not behave very well. I don't know if you can see on this card, but it has feathered like crazy on this watercolor paper. And of course, watercolor paper is not exactly fountain pen friendly, but most of my other inks don't feather, but this one just feathers like crazy. I love the color, but I don't like the way the ink behaves. Let's see, and he's looking a little bit blue. Let's see, we'll think about him some more. And here is Private Reserve Ebony Blue. I bought a little sample set from Private Reserve. It was ebony blue, ebony brown, ebony purple, and ebony green. And this is the ebony blue, but it definitely looks green to me. I think it's showing up on the camera pretty well. But all the other inks are definitely shades of blue, but he does not look blue. He looks green. And these blue blacks look similar to me. This is a little bit bluer. These are definitely closer to each other, but this one has a decidedly purple cast to it. It has some nice purple shading. So I thought I would pull out the ebony purple from that sample set to see how it would look next to the Evening Sapphire. Now the Evening Sapphire looks purple compared to these blue blacks, but compared to a purple ink, it looks very blue. So it's always interesting how the ink colors compare with each other. And also for comparison, since these are blue blacks and they tend to look kind of gray, I pulled out my Noodler's Lexington Gray. So here is a gray ink with no blue in it, and all of these inks look very blue next to this gray ink. So I thought that was interesting. And also, I was wondering, we were talking about those multi-shading inks. I just got all my cards in this great big jumble here. I haven't I haven't put them back on the ring, but I was looking for those shading inks that we were talking about the other day to see how they compared with the Evening Sapphire, because it does seem to have a lot of interesting shading to it. So let's see what we got here. So I will take the blue blacks away. I feel like I'm dealing cards. All right. So there is Ink Studio 123. Again, much lighter, but I don't know if it's showing up in the camera, but there's definitely some shading going on in here. And there's my favorite, Milky Ocean. And again, lighter than the Evening Sapphire, but this is blue shading to purple, and this is kind of that blue-black, but it has some purple shading in it. And here is Troublemaker Abalone. And this is more in that gray category like Evening Sapphire is. And this is that gray with kind of purple and even green undertones to it. So very interesting. And here is Sailor Manyo Neko Unagi. And of course this one is much lighter, but again it has those different tones in it. But these two, I can definitely see some relation there with the purples and the blues. Very interesting. I don't know much about this Robert Oster ink, so I don't know if he was going for some different shading properties in it, but it's very interesting. And I wonder if I tried it in a broader nib or a wetter nib, if it would behave better. It's a little frustrating because it feels like it doesn't want to write, but I think in a broader nib it would work out. All right, well that is all I had for you today, and hopefully this video will work out for me as well. I hope you enjoyed it. I love talking about inks, and I hope you enjoy your pens and inks also. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.